Thank you. Senator Johnson mentioned reserve currency. I think he's right on, and you talked about it a little bit as well. I think if that ever changed and the euro was headed to be a reserve currency, we'd be feeling the pain currently. We wouldn't have as much maneuverability. Senator Van Hollen and the other side always brings up the idea of income. I'm interested in that as well. I think you got to be careful. I think the Tax and Jobs Act did get close to the sweet spot of, since our revenue, I think, has been better than what it was forecast by the CBO. February, we actually generated more in 19 than we took in 18, which is a good sign. Have you done any income modeling? Because that is the other side of the equation. In my opinion, high liquid incomes have the capacity to pay more taxes. They're currently lumped in with pass-through entities, which are the productive part of our economy. Sub-S's, LLCs, they create all the jobs. Have you done any work on seeing what we could generate in income without tanking the economy or at least starting to impact it? I think that's an honest discussion we have to have.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. No, we've not been asked to do that, and would be happy to figure out what would be appropriate to us. Typically, that's could be either CBO or the Joint Committee on Taxation.
I've asked the CBO, and they didn't seem like they had much interest in it or capability to do it.
Well, it's a high-risk endeavor to take the project.
I wouldn't hold you accountable at all. I just
right.
want to know if you had an idea.
No, let me give some thought to how we could do it, and I'd be happy to look. I'm happy to do anything that I think could be helpful to deal with this situation.
And think about that in terms of true modeling.
I'll make a deal with you. I'll think about that, but help us address the tax gap that's already in place. You have over $400 billion a year that should be coming in that's not. We're only 83% compliant. Before we ask people to pay more, we should make sure that people that are paying their fair share now under the current tax laws. We've asked Congress to regulate paid tax preparers. Right now, according to our analysis, the paid tax preparers—
And what was that gap again? How much?
$406 billion a year.
So almost half of the deficit.
The deficit, right. And you have improper payments going out that are $151 billion, and that, I believe, is a conservative estimate. So we've got a lot of money, a lot of leakage, money going out that shouldn't go out, and a lot of revenue that should be coming in that's not. If you did require more electronic filing of returns, third-party information reporting, gave IRS some math authority, and give them the authority to regulate tax preparers, I think you could make a major dent. Our analysis of IRS data shows that returns prepared by paid tax preparers have a higher error rate than people preparing their own return. So I think—
Is that across all tax brackets, or is that isolated in the higher?
I'd have to look and give you an answer, more specific
to know
answer
that
on
too.
that. Okay.
And then along with it, I think it'd be real valuable if you could come up with an easy-to-understand chart that as you raised taxes within each category, how much would that actually generate? Because I think you mentioned a 36% increase,
right,
or either a 25% cut was what you need now, which is politically not palatable.
Right.
But I asked the CBO to do the same thing as well, and the Tax Foundation, to give me some easy information that shows as you would raise rates within brackets, what that would do. I think that's another way, along with the chronology on the top 10 hits that the budget will take. Once you get to the threshold of automatic cuts, would be the other side of the equation to depict the reality of what revenue generation would be about. Everybody talks about it abstractly here. Nobody's explaining it particularly.
Okay. Okay, we'll look at it.
Thank you.
We'll go give it a college try. Go a college try.
Thank you.
Sure.